What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only, Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Said It Show. Over 2,100 episodes since 2014, 500,000 streams around the world. None of this is possible without you guys, so thank you so very much. All the shares, all the cares, it makes a huge difference. Today, I've got a return guest with me, the wonderful Becky Diamond. Hey, Becky.
Hi, Ash. How are you?
I am great. Congratulations on all the success of the Gilded Age Cookbook, which is available everywhere books are sold. It's been doing great numbers. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you having me back on your show. I'm so thrilled to speak with you again.
Yes, and so now you're back with another edition. We've got the Gilded Age Christmas Cookbook. So we're going to jump into that one. All the wonderful confections and treats and things in it. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Absolutely.
Yes. Now, this book solves the mystery of the sugar plum. So what was the most delightful discovery that you made on these historic confections?
I think the main thing was that they actually used sugar plums as decorations in addition to eating them as a treat. Wrapping them in colored paper foils, tying them up with a ribbon. They could be an ornament to hang on the Christmas tree or just hang, somewhere else around the house. Mm-hmm. And the name sugar plum came from the fact that they resembled plums in size and shape and had these little wire stalks that could be used to hang up. So they were not just sugar-dusted plums like people might think. So, yeah.
Yes, and of course, the Gilded Age is known for its extravagance. So, what's one holiday tradition or dessert from that era that you think modern holiday celebrations could benefit from?
I think, honestly, plum pudding, which is also called Christmas pudding. And that was the highlight of Gilded Age holiday celebrations. It was so important that even the poor Cratchit family in Dickens' Christmas Carol had one on their holiday table. And they would douse it in this sauce that they called hard sauce, which was made from rum or brandy butter. And it was added right before serving. And then they could light this pudding up and bring it flaming to the table. They garnished it with a sprig of holly. So it was really the highlight of the holiday feast. And I know some families still do a plum pudding, but it's really been eclipsed by a lot of other sweets. So I think it would be fun to bring that back more often within families.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun one, especially when it just kind of get everyone involved. I like that.
Yeah, and that actually, so a tradition that had to do with plum pudding was called Stir-Up Sunday. So just like today, folks in the Gilded Age started celebrating Christmas early. So this Stir-Up Sunday was the last Sunday before Advent in late November. And people would come home from church or whatever and stir the plum pudding. Like they would mix up the batter. Then each person in the family would stir it and make a wish. And then the pudding was hung up with a cloth to mature. That's when there was still a pudding cloth surrounding the pudding. So it was mature over the remaining weeks until Christmas. So, yeah, it was a fun activity for everybody.
That is so cool. Yeah, just when you start hearing about these traditions from olden days and you're like, wow, like it just felt like we were so much more connected than, today, technology has kind of taken us by the
right. People are on their phones or whatever, but, families actually would gather and make Christmas cookies and do other, the Christmas carols. So it's nice to revisit some of these traditions.
It is. I mean, you've worked some serious holiday magic by adapting these 19th century recipes. What was what you would say the most challenging recipe to update for today's kitchens?
Yeah, so it's quite a bit of tweaking and kind of backing into a recipe when you recreate it. I look at how a recipe's evolved over time, seeing like if there's similar ingredients and slight changes in techniques. So sometimes it's a matter of using several different recipes to land on the correct combination. In addition, ingredients were different, measurements were different, things like that. So I think I have this recipe for lemon gingerbread, which was probably the most challenging. I ended up using a combination of 4 different 19th century recipes because I liked that combination of lemon, both the zest and the juice with molasses and brandy and the ginger together. But you just, baking is chemistry, so you had to make sure the combinations were turning out okay. But I finally got it. I almost gave up on that one. And then another recipe for coffee cookies was tough, too, because it called for a pint of strong, warm coffee. And I'm like, a pint of coffee in a cookie dough is not going to fly, so I had to tweak that quite a bit. So, and that's the thing, I always tell people, you can't just look at those recipes from the past and make them the way they're written. It just won't work out, typically. So, yeah.
It certainly won't.
Yeah.
And another thing that I really love about this particular book is the fact that it includes traditions from other holidays. So I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Gilded Age was really the time when Hanukkah celebrations in America began to become more prevalent and widespread throughout the Jewish community, because they were seeing the growth in the festivities of Christmas. So they wanted to also partake in some December merriment. And since Hanukkah occurs around the same time of year, it was a natural fit. And you even have quotations from this Dr. Abram Isaac saying, "We share their larger meaning and bless the genial men and women who through Christmas bound each year and brighten mankind." So that was just a really nice thing to find, that the celebrations kind of tied together that way. And then New Year's, too, was a really popular celebration, and that goes back to Dutch settlers who came to New York in the 17th century. They would open their houses almost like an open house, like that we think of today, and family and friends would stop by, and you would kind of go from house to house and have treats and a strong cordial or something at each one. And then also, there was a really sizable Black elite in different cities, including Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C., and they had debutante dances and parties that focused, around the holiday time. So there were all different types of celebrations that were going on, not just the typical, Christmas that we think about now. So, yeah.
Now, the book also has a foreword from Chef Walter Staib. Tell us a little bit about that collaboration. How did that come about?
Yeah, I am so appreciative of him and his friendship. He's such a nice, kind man, and he graciously wrote a lovely foreword for this book, as well as my last Gilded Age cookbook. And for this cookbook, he contributed 2 recipes, and I really found it so helpful to have his German heritage and historical food knowledge really aligned with the themes I was trying to highlight throughout the book. So I'm just grateful that I have this connection with him. And it'll continue on into my current book project, actually. He had the idea, kind of, and I'm working on it now. So, so he's really so helpful to me.
Yes. Now, I'd imagine with a book project like this, especially for the holidays, you've got so many different ideas. There are so many recipes that you just fall in love with and you want to include, but obviously we can't have 1,000 recipe book floating around, and people are probably not going to be too receptive to that. So how did you how did you differentiate and figure out what recipes were absolutely going to go into this book?
A lot of them are recipes that have been in my family for a long time. So they were holiday favorites of mine, but I knew that they went back to this Gilded Age time frame, so that was really helpful. And I love all those spice type of cookies, gingerbread, molasses cookies, and what I did is I looked through like different menus and magazines from the time, and what are the recipes that were showing up the most frequently? What are the ones that were mentioned more often than the others? So that's how I really hit upon the final selection of what I was including in the book.
Okay.
So.
Cool. And last but certainly not least, for that novice baker and person that is in charge for the holidays, Becky, getting this book, what would you say to that new baker that gets this book and they're just, they're super pumped, but they don't really know where to begin?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the spice cookies are really easy, and they evoke the taste and aromas of the holiday season. So the molasses cookies, spice nuts, even I have a recipe for German butter cookies made with cardamom. They're easy. Shortbread is only 4 ingredients. So, there's any number of the cookies that are fairly easy to start with, definitely. And then anyone who wants some more challenging recipes, there's a fudgy chocolate cake that's a layer cake, the plum pudding. Although, honestly, it's just mixing up the ingredients, letting them blend, and then you just steam it. So I tried to make sure that all the recipes I included were accessible to people in their home kitchens today with ingredients and techniques and things. And not overly complicated either. So,
yeah. We all appreciate that, Becky. we certainly appreciate that.
I know. And nobody has the time anymore, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And let everyone know where they can go ahead and get their copies so that, before the holidays start, because you guys know this book is going to sell out. It's not going to be available. So go ahead and snag those copies.
Yeah, it's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and any of your local bookstores should be able to get a copy. So, yeah. Okay. And on my website, too. So, yeah, all those places.
Yes, and let everyone know your website. Let them know how to get to you.
Sure. So it's just Becky L, as in Larry, Diamond.com. So BeckyLDiamond.com is the website. And I have upcoming events there, as well as I have a blog if they're interested in recipes there, and just other information. So, yeah.
Sounds
absolutely.
like the plan. Becky, it's always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for coming through. We love talking food with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
And of course, you got to come back.
I hope to spread a little... Yeah, I will definitely come back, and, happy to spread a little holiday cheer throughout the lives of everybody.
Good vibrations. I love it. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.